So I know this video is a little bit late, but I wanted to be able to upload something in between the 2 anime seasons. We hit 100, guys, and I just want to thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. To be honest, every like, every comment, every view, every new subscriber that I see, it means a lot to me. And I know 100 subscribers might not seem like that much to a lot of people, and in the landscape of YouTube today, 100 subscribers really isn't that much, but it's always been a goal of mine to reach 100 subscribers ever since I started doing YouTube videos back in the day, maybe like 8 or 9 years ago.
Flashback.
Hey YouTube, this is Quick Gunner 97 here. Hey YouTube, this is Quick Gunner 97. I'm going to be showing you how to...
Hey, what's up guys? Quick Gunner 97 here. We're playing our first zombies game on Shinonuma. Hey guys, this is Quick Gunner 97 here, and I'm about to show you a glitch.
End of flashback.
But I never really got there, and I kind of just stopped making videos altogether at some point. I kind of started this channel back up towards the end of January, not really knowing what direction I wanted to go in. I knew I wanted to talk about anime and manga in some form, and I felt like reaction videos were the best way to get myself kind of out there. But I appreciate you guys sticking around and joining this community as it grows. So with that, I wanted to split this video up into 2 parts. I wanted to do a little something special for 100 subscribers. So I'm going to be giving you guys my top 5 underrated anime of all time. I kind of have to sit with this list, kind of think it through, go back and look at some of the content from the anime, because it's been a while since I've seen some of these. So I kind of had to do my research a little bit, get caught up on what happened, why I actually love these anime, and why I think they're underrated and don't get the credit that I think they deserve. So if I can get even a handful of people to watch these series, then I think I've done my job. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let's go to the video. So I've numbered these 1 to 5 for the sake of the video, but in reality there isn't really a true ranking to these for me. All of them are underrated in their own way and for their own reasons, so I didn't really feel like ranking them per se. But let's talk real quick about what being underrated means for me. So obviously every anime is going to have some sort of fan base, but an underrated anime for me is one that doesn't really get talked about in the community now, or didn't really get the buzz that it probably deserved back when it aired. And I feel like the anime I'm going to talk about definitely fit into this definition that I have. So let's start this list off. So first on the list is, drumroll please, Hinamatsuri. So this anime aired not too long ago, but a few years ago, back in spring season of 2018. And I remember I was just looking for some anime to pick up, and boy am I glad that I did, because it turned out to be something that I still remember till this day as one of the better slice of life comedy anime that I've seen, and maybe one of the best. So a quick summary for you guys, and I'm not going to give too much away about it obviously, is that there's basically a Yakuza member, and one day a girl in a pod basically just crashes into his house or shows up there, and he's just completely confused as to what to do. So at some point it becomes apparent to us and Nita that this girl has some supernatural powers like telekinesis. While there are supernatural elements obviously to the anime, it doesn't take up the whole of the anime, and it doesn't become the focus. It's more of a support for the comedy and slice of life elements. And I think that's where Hinamatsuri shines. The way they're able to do comedy so effortlessly and seamlessly without making it obvious that they're working towards a joke or working towards a funny moment, it was just amazing. And I especially loved the dynamic between Hina and Nita. It's almost like a father-daughter relationship in a sense. So Hina is a character that's pretty silent. She doesn't really talk too much, and she doesn't really make that many facial expressions. So when she finally does do those things and it all leads up to a joke or a funny scene, then it's pretty rewarding. And at the end of the day, the anime is not just about Hina and Nita. There are a lot of characters introduced that serve their comedic purpose while also being pretty entertaining, even if the main characters aren't in the episode as much. So if you guys are looking for a nice slice of life, wholesome, comedic anime, then Hinamatsuri should definitely be on your watch list. I honestly put it pretty close to comedic giants like Psyche. Also, I'll link down below a review for it that I saw on my anime list. There's a portion of it that is spoiler free and a portion that has spoilers, so I just want to give you guys that heads up. But it goes into a lot more detail as to why this series is so different and why it captivated the hearts of so many people who watched it when it came out. So you guys probably don't know this, but I am a pretty big fan of sports anime. The first one that I watched that I really enjoyed was Kuroko's Basketball a long time ago. And while it wasn't the most realistic one, it was definitely entertaining, and you come to like most of the characters that they introduce. Obviously, my favorite one of all time is Haikyuu, but that's partly because it's a great anime, and also I played volleyball throughout high school and a little bit in college. But the anime I'm going to be talking about right now is Kazega Suyuku Fuiteru, Run with the Wind. And this aired way back in fall/winter of 2018-2019. So it had about 23 episodes, so it covered both of those seasons. Now this, as a sports anime, is about track and running. And if you look at the cover photo, you might be wondering that you've probably seen this guy before in another sports anime. And you'd be right to assume that this guy and Kageyama from Haikyuu look pretty similar. But Kakeru, which is our MC's name, is a prodigy when it comes to running. And he gets spotted by a man named Haiji, who invites him to come live in his apartment complex with his other 8 people. You know, what's great about this anime is that a lot of sports anime, and I would say most sports anime, take place in high school. But this sports anime takes place after high school, so all the characters that we see are actually in university, which was one of the most refreshing things I've seen in a sports anime in a very long time. So while Haiji convinces Kakeru to come live with him and his friends, Kakeru soon realizes that these guys are actually the track team for a university. Now what's great about this anime, as is the case for a lot of good sports anime, is that a lot of characters are introduced and they really are all fleshed out, and you get to know a lot about all of them. You know, a lot of times people look at sports anime, and if they haven't watched many before, they might think, oh, why would I watch a sports anime? I'll just go watch the real thing. But sports anime are rarely ever about the sport itself. The good ones are more so about the character development and how these characters develop into the players they want to be, and how that changes their personality and how they become more confident. And that's not even going into any personal issues these characters might have. So to see these guys come together as a track team and kind of get closer and closer to their goal as a group, but also individually, was amazing to see. You know, a lot of these characters are not born runners. Some of them, you know, have a physical affinity for running, but a lot of them don't. And to see their journey as well was, I think, a very important aspect of this anime's plot. Showing you that the grind actually pays off was something that I really respected about this anime, and I still hold with me till this day. And that's not even going into the visuals of this anime, because when they're in a race and when they're running and the wind is blowing their hair back, this anime really ups its art and animation game. And I saw this anime fly under the radar for a lot of people, but I think it should be up there with one of the better sports anime to come out in the past several years. So if you're looking to watch a sports anime that's obviously more than just about the sport and gives you a cast of characters that go through their own trials and tribulations to further themselves and for the betterment of the team, then Run with the Wind is definitely for you. So I'm going to switch gears a bit with my number 3 on this list in Zankyo no Terror, or Terror in Residence. Now, this is a bit of a flashback from all the way back in the summer of 2014, and this anime also, I think, went under a lot of people's radars, but I do see it getting a lot more credit these days. So after an attack on a nuclear facility in Japan, the police find a 3-letter word spray painted on the rubble, which says Vaughn. 2 guys, part of a terror cell named Sphinx, claim responsibility, and they basically tell the police that they plan on doing a lot more violent acts unless they can catch them. Now, from what I just said, you might think this is just another cat and mouse chase between police and criminals, but it's much more than that. The character development that 9 and 12, who make up the terror cell Sphinx, get is something that makes you think so much more about what's actually going on in the plot. Even if these two guys seem calm and poised and focused in their plans on the outside, they're dealing with a lot of personal problems that do affect them. And that's augmented by the fact that the anime goes into a lot of different themes such as anti-heroism and makes you question really who is the enemy. The way this anime shows how third parties get involved into situations like these is very interesting because the decisions that they make while in them stand out. So if you're looking to watch an anime with some darker themes, then I think Zankyo no Terror is definitely one for you. The complications with interacting with the terror cell or being in one is something that the anime really makes you think about, and at certain times it even puts your moral compass to the test. So that's all I'll say about it, but it's definitely an anime that you guys should check out. So I was never really one to watch a lot of romance anime. Up until this anime, I had seen maybe a handful of them, but this one I picked up mainly because I liked the cover page, and looking into the summary a little bit, I thought, hey, this is gonna be a little bit different. But little did I know that it was gonna be much more different than I had ever imagined, and that it would stay with me forever. And the anime that I'm talking about is none other than Kuzu no Honkai, or Scum's Wish. So what do you do when two people who love different people date each other to fulfill their unrequited sexual desires for their respective crushes? You watch. You know, a lot of people call this anime the friends with benefits anime. And while they're not entirely wrong, what they often forget is that this anime dives into a lot of themes surrounding love that I just haven't seen romance anime dive into. So the story follows a bunch of characters, but starts off with Mugi and Hanabi. Mugi has a crush on Akane, one of the teachers, and Hanabi has a crush on Narumi, one of her childhood friends who's also a teacher. So when they confess to each other about their respective situations, they come to this sort of agreement that they will use each other's bodies for the pleasure that they seek with their crushes. Now, the reason why I really enjoyed this anime was because of the way it deconstructs the notion of love. And it does that by introducing a lot of other feelings that you might feel if you're in love. Some of those being jealousy, regret, greed, hope, or mistrust, or fear. It's very hard to find a character in this show that isn't fucked up in some way. If I had to summarize this anime into 3 words, it would be that love is messy. Especially if you're an adolescent or in high school, it causes you to feel things that you've probably never felt before. And if you don't know how to deal with them, then it could lead you down some dark paths. But this anime shows that even adults may not know how to navigate this world of love, because at the end of the day, everyone's going through some shit, and those things reflect in their notion of love and how they love and how they want to be loved. So if you're looking for an anime that really shows you the darker sides of love and affection and the lengths that people will go to claim that love, then this anime is definitely for you. It's a little explicit and is definitely meant for more mature audiences, but it's much different than your usual happy-go-lucky romance anime or even your somber and sad romance animes. So definitely check this one out. Alright guys, so we're down to number 1 on my top 5 underrated anime list, and that spot has to go to Roka no Yusha, or Roka Braves of the Six Flowers. And this is also a little bit of an older anime that came out in the summer of 2015. So what do you do when you're summoned to fight a demon lord along with 5 other people for a total of 6, but 7 people show up? Roka no Yusha is a kind of a whodunit mystery anime where this cast of characters try to figure out who the imposter is among them. And those words might trigger something in you because people do call this anime the Among Us anime. The story follows a bunch of heroes, but most notably our main boy, Adlet, Fremi, and Nashitanya. So what's great about this anime is that it's not just a simple whodunit. The relationships that the heroes form with each other, the interactions that they have, really keeps you on your toes. And even though there are instances where it might seem like you know who the imposter is, this anime does an amazing job of kind of turning that on its head and making you rethink your whole prediction. And the thing about every one of these characters is that there's something redeeming about them. There's some quality that you can kind of enjoy in its own way. Whether they're bad characteristics and you find yourself rooting against them, or you're rooting for them. Every character and every character interaction feels fleshed out and well thought out. Roko no Yusha is definitely one of the better fantasy mystery anime that I've seen in a very long time. Unfortunately, it only got a season 1 because the sales of the manga were kind of low, so it did not get renewed for a season 2. So if you're looking for a thriller, mystery, whodunit anime, then Roko no Yusha is definitely the anime for you. Well, that's it. That's my top 5 underrated anime list. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys were able to find even just one anime from this list that you might want to watch now. As always, I appreciate you guys sticking around. And if you made it to this part of the video, leave a like and hit that subscribe. We're 100 or so subscribers in, but in my opinion, the sky's the limit. So I appreciate you guys sticking around and joining this community. And if you've actually watched any of these anime, then leave your thoughts about them down below without putting any spoilers, of course. Also, let me know what your guys' favorite underrated anime are down below. I love finding new anime that I hadn't previously watched that are actually pretty good once you watch them. But I think that's all for this one. So thanks for stopping by. Don't forget to hit that subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.